have to wait and see who does it. They have 3 kickers on the team.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of the drum major Caroline, the 1982 Marching Little Band. Marching in the band, ladies and gentlemen. As with the Pottstown, your little band finished third at a score of 5 in their call. Leading the marching leaders on the field this evening is drum major Carol Vaughn. Other student leaders are Terry Galvin and Ed Van Lanigan, percussion captains. Chris Palmita and Morgan Finneran, show captain. Linda Lanuti, rifle captain. Ronnie Bono and Trudy Kinsey, flash flags and thrower captain. Rounding out the instructional staff was Scott Wolfinger, percussion, Dan Rowe, marching, Donna Coleman, silk, Dennis Murphy on rifle, Joel Robinson, and flash flags. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would everyone please stand while the band plays the national anthem. Let's hear it once more again, once more, ladies and gentlemen, for the Eagle Marching Band.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roosevelt Field. I'm Jeff Brandon. A little bit later on, Alan Riley will be joining me to broadcast tonight's ball game. Tonight, the undefeated Norristown Eagles take on the Indians of Council Rock. The Indians' record is 2-2 right now in the season, having lost to a fairly decent Abington team. Norristown, of course, is undefeated with 5 victories, 2 league victories, and plus 1 forfeit to that. The Thacton squad, which was on strike earlier this year. Last week's victory over Harry S. Truman High School was a classic. 2 different ball games, 2 different halves. Norristown was totally dominated in the first half, being outscored 19-7. Their only touchdown coming with 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Norristown, of course, stormed back in that ball game, winding up with 27 points, 3 touchdowns in the second half. And the Norristown defense shutting out the Truman team. Tonight, we'd like to take special note of the defensive line for Norristown. They've done a fantastic job this year, keeping teams scoreless in 2 ball games, as well as shutting down that Truman squad last week. Those offensive linemen are Jeff and Jerome Reinhardt, Damon Davenport, and Mark Ramsey, as well as Ken Lockhart, who plays linebacker on offensive and defensive line. Lockhart and Davenport both lead Norristown this year in tackling points with 73 apiece. We look for a good ball game tonight. Council Rock has a strong defense. Their quarterback Sager went through a tough preseason, worked himself into shape, and he's shown some good potential this year. Norristown, I hope, will not be overconfident for this ball game. Having come off that gigantic second half against Truman, they could be just a little bit too overconfident for this ball game. I hope not. Council Rock is tough. It won't be an easy victory. Right now, let's go down to the field for tonight's action. We're ready, just about ready for tonight's ball game. Mike Denzi, of course, will be kicking off for Norristown in this first half. Norristown, of course, defending the left-hand goal on your screen. Council Rock will receive. The officials are just about ready, and so's Mike Denzi. There's the whistle, and we're ready to begin play. There's the kick, short one, swiveler that time by Denzi, picked by one of the up men right on the ground. That ball was taken by number 34 for the Indians, Russ Klein. So no run back on the play, and the Indians will take over the ball on the 30-yard line. Right now, we'd like to run down some of the starters for you for Norristown on defense. We have Tom Friday, Toby Tolliver, Dave Elsier, Rick Waldrop, Nate Balknight, Delbert Chavou, Ken Lockhart, Jeff and Jerome Reinhardt, David Davenport, and Mark Ramsey. Down onto the field. Play goes to pitch outside, almost bobbled, taking that time, however, for no gain. Running that ball was number 41, Matt Hynoski. Loss of about a half a yard on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 10. Starting on offense for the Indians will be number 11, Jeff Sager at quarterback, as well as Mike Henderson, Howard Gerwood, Steve Tilsner, Mike Rabeda, Matt Hynoski, Ross Waddy, Mike Waskovich, Brian Neiman, Rick Zaber, Andy Annensman, and Greg Clody. Sager takes the ball. He's going to go to the air early. Threads the needle that time on the pass. However, it's incomplete that time to number 41, Matt Hynoski. Well, we were perhaps sort of expecting them to go to the air tonight. Norristown's defensive line, as we mentioned in the pregame show, has been outstanding this year, except for that lapse in the first half of the ball game against Harry S. Truman. So right at the beginning of this ball game, we have a 3rd and 10 situation for the Indians. Sager takes the ball. He's going to pass once again. He's got plenty of time. There's Kenny Lockhart in on the rush. Lockhart hits him. The pass is deep. He's open. Tom Friday ran into the receiver that time, number 2 for the Indians, Mike Henderson. I thought there might have been a little bit of a bump, but apparently Friday was just going for the ball. No call by the official. So it'll be 3 plays and a punt. Council Rock will now have to punt from their own 30-yard line. Back deep for Norristown will be number 1, Tommy Friday. And we have an official's timeout. Number 83, Jerome Reinhardt, is down on the field. Apparently something wrong with his left leg. I hope it's just a leg cramp. Mentioning Tommy Friday, in the game against Pennsbury earlier this year, Tommy had a 62-yard punt return back for a touchdown. In that ball game, he received some excellent special teams blocking, as well as being able to reverse his entire field to score that touchdown. Tom's sort of been the big play man this year for Norristown, having made several outstanding receptions in ball games. I think with the capacity that Norristown has for running the ball, with Wayne Denson and Carmen Bello, we should see a very balanced running attack, provided that this Council Rock team doesn't stop them early. Of course, we know Rich Melito can go to the air. He's proved very effective this year. And I believe Joe Vereen will also be substituting with Tom Friday at the wide receiver position to give Friday some rest in this ball game. And we're ready for the punt. As we say, back deep, Tom Friday. The kick is up. End over end, wobbler. Nate Balknight lets it roll by him. Tom's not going to pick the ball up. Smart move by Tom Friday as he lets it roll, and will be down by the Indians at the 28-yard line of Norristown. So no run back on the play. Punt was low, but it got a Council Rock roll. And with 10:51 remaining in the first quarter, Norristown will take over 1st and 10. Starting on offense for Norristown will be number 10, Rich Melito at quarterback. The running backs will be Wayne Denson, number 2, and Carmen Bello, number 6. At the split end position will be Tom Friday, with Rob Livingston and Dave Elsier alternating at the flanker position. We'll get you the offensive line in just a moment. Livingston in motion to the front of your screen. Melito takes the ball, hands off inside to Carmen Bello. Bello off the right side. He's stopped after a gain of about 1.5 yards. Make it 2nd down and 9 to go. On the offensive line for Norristown, number 54, Mike Denzi at center, number 55, Greg Chavou at guard, number 63, Stan Storty at guard, number 71, Gary Lokensall at tackle, number 73, Joe Trump at tackle, and number 83, Jerome Reinhardt at the tight end position. So 2nd down and 9, Rich Melito over the ball. This time, Elsier in motion to the bottom of your screen. Pitch goes to Wayne Denson over the right side. Denson cuts back up the middle. He's got some running room right through the middle of that Indian defense. Tackle finally made on the play by number 30 of the Council Rock Indians, and that's Bill Worrell. Wayne Denson with a 1st down for Norristown as the Eagles go with the rushing attack. Ball right now arrested at the 42-yard line of the Eagles. Livingston in motion. Melito hands off this time to Wayne Denson off the left side. There's a flag on the play. Wayne Denson, plenty of running room. Now he would have a 1st down on the play, however, I'm not sure what that penalty was. From the direction of the flag, I would assume it's an offensive penalty. Call is holding against Norristown. So that'll move the ball back at least 5 yards, depending on how the hold was made.
Eagles a little bit more. Let's see that wild one. And maybe zoom in on the players.
About 1:30. Well, move the ball back 15 yards. Move the ball back 18 yards. I don't understand that play, but it's 2nd down and 1st down and 28 yards to go. If it was a holding penalty, I can't understand why the penalty was 18 yards, but nevertheless, Rich Melito with a long way to go for a 1st down. He hands up the middle to Carmen Bello. Bello pushes his way forward for about 5 or 6. And Alan, it's good to have you with us here this evening. I know you had some problems getting to the ball game, but it'd be nice to get a rest at least.
Well, I finally arrived, and I only showed up because I knew you'd be lonely without me here.
Definitely. You know that's the way I feel.
Is that how I read it? Did I read it right off the card?
Perfect. Okay. So we have 2nd and 25 for Norristown. Of course, on their first possession, the Indians had 3 plays and a punt. Elsier in motion to the right side. Melito to the air this time, rolling out to his left. Melito gets the ball off. Nate Balknight over the middle. Oh, it's intercepted that time. Nice catch. Receptions made by number 22, and that's Bruce Coletti. Well, we saw that ball go through several hands. And that's one thing we haven't seen so far this year. It's interceptions by Rich Melito.
That's right. I think Rich has only had 1 pass intercepted this year. We don't have the official stats here, but that time it bounced off, I think, number 83, Jerome Reinhardt's hands, and then off of another Council Rock player.
Nate Balknight, I believe.
Nate Balknight, that's right. And then into Coletti's hands for Council Rock.
Of course, Reinhardt is the usual tight end, but he left the defensive play with a leg cramp. Nate Balknight is the substitute tight end. Run goes that time to Worrell. Worrell trying to find some room around the left side. He stopped for no gain, and there's also a flag on the play. From all indications, I'd say it's a holding call. The call is clipping, which is also against Council Rock.
Chase, Henderson, Sager, Bennett, Durwood, Worrell, Bedison, Tilsner, Rabeda, Ionovsky, Wate, Micklin, Waskovich.
And there's a 15-yard penalty on the play. Now Council Rock starting deep in the hole this time. Sager takes the ball, hands it off up the middle, and that goes for about 1.5 yards. The ball right now rests on the 39-yard line of Council Rock. 2nd down and 27 to go. Well, we won't see too much scoring if these teams get in these 1st and 30 situations.
I think that's a pretty accurate assessment of tonight's ball game so far.
Of course, there's 7:36 remaining in this first quarter. We've just been underway. Both teams have had one possession. Both teams have been forced, well, one team was forced to punt. Norristown, of course, with that interception just moments ago. Sager with a long count. This time he keeps the ball. He's going long. He's got a good arm. Here's Tom Friday. No, that's, that's Rick Waldrop, I believe, on the defensive play that time. We've seen Sager air a couple passes out already.
I'll tell you, Sager had a nice touch on that one. Mike Henderson, number 2, was wide open down there. As a matter of fact, he had completed his route. He was just waiting, and Sager just threw the ball a little too late. It was on the button. By that time, Norristown's defensive back was able to get in there on the play.
Well, obviously, Council Rock's not going to be afraid to throw the ball tonight. Oh. 3rd and 27 from the 39-yard line of Council Rock. Sager back to pass again. This time there's pressure by Jeff Reinhardt. Reinhardt's after him. He goes for the screen pass. Toby Tolliver, what coverage on that play by the Norristown defense. Toby Tolliver was all over that man trying to come back for the play. The pass was completed, and that makes it 3rd down, and I'd say about 40.
I think it's
4th down, rather. Let's see what the yardage is. See what the scoreboard tells us. They're just as non-committal as we are. They have nothing up there so far. In any event, it'll be 4th down.
37.
4th down and 37 to go. So Tom Friday will be back deep for the Eagles. Good punt this time. Not a lot of height there. Tom Friday's going to take the ball. Fair catch is called. And Norristown will take possession right on their own 40-yard line. Doing the punting chores tonight for Council Rock is number 83, Tim Carroll.
31-yarder.
That was a 31-yard kick, had a lot of height on it though, forcing Tom Friday to make the fair catch. And if you can keep Tommy Friday from running the ball back, you're in good shape on special teams. Livingston in motion. Pitch goes outside to Wayne Denson. He's running around the right side, breaks a couple tacklers. Finally, the play is made by number 1, Rick Chase. Gain of about 3 on the play, make it 2nd down and 7.
Jeff, I think a key factor pointing out in tonight's ball game, it's been raining on and off before the game and periodically during it so far. And it's going to have a big effect on Norristown's strength on offense, their speed.
Melito hands off to Carmen Bello up the middle. Fumble that time, recovered by Council Rock. That's right. And on the play was number 70, John Cassidy.
Well, that time Bello had it tucked in and he was spun around, and one of the Council Rock defensive linemen in helmets popped the ball out of Bello's arms and right into Cassidy's arms. So another key turnover here for for Norristown, and this is very reminiscent of last week's game against Truman, where Norristown came out very flat and sluggish and had some costly turnovers that resulted in a quick 19-0 lead for Truman.
Of course, the big difference right now is the Norristown defense has been outstanding so far in this ball game. They've allowed nothing for this Truman team. Norristown 2 possessions and 2 turnovers. Pardon me, Council Rock. Shouldn't have said Truman too many times, Alan. Sager back to pass this time. Oh, intercepted by Toby Tolliver. No. Oh, Toby had it right in his hands. You can't believe he missed that one.
Well, that time Toby was thinking touchdown before he caught the ball because he was off and running. He had no one in front of him down the sidelines, and that was just, he wasn't expecting it.
Tell you, this Norristown defense has looked impressive so far in this first quarter. We've only been playing just about 7 minutes with 5:21 remaining to go here in this quarter. But Norristown, with the defensive pressure as well as good secondary play, has held Council Rock to nothing so far. Sager hands off this time up the middle, goes to number 40, Rabeda. Well, if it takes us a quarter to learn these names, we'll be okay. We have some real killers tonight. 3rd down and 7. Ball at the 48-yard line of Norristown.
I'll tell you, I'm glad you're doing play-by-play tonight.
You'll get your chance. And we'll see what kind of a play selection we get at 3rd down and 7. Handoff up the middle. Breaks a couple tacklers. Nice play that time. The run by number 41, Matt Hynoski. However, it is short of the 1st down.
That was a good call, though, that time by Council Rock. Previous times they had dropped back to pass. That time they tried to fool the Norristown defense, and it was a nice run by Hynoski.
I'll accept that. 4th down and 3 to go. So it looks like we're going to see another punt. No, they're going for the 1st down. It goes to Hynoski again. He dives forward, and I think he has the 1st down. Well, that's a gutsy call by the coach of the Council Rock Indians.
Well, that time, number 35, Ken Lockhart, was in there on the tackle, but I think you're right. Hynoski did get it. They have nothing to lose because they're already deep inside Norristown territory, and they might as well take the chance and go for that first, and they were successful.
Well, I wouldn't say deep inside Norristown territory. They're at the 40-yard line. However, it did work, and it's a 1st down Council Rock. Ball at the 35-yard line of Norristown right now. Sager drops back to pass on 1st down. Jerome Reinhardt applying pressure. Open on the sideline is number 2, Henderson. However, he's out of bounds.
Nice try that time by Mike Henderson. He was just waiting there. Once again, he completed the route before Sager delivered the ball to him, and he tried tiptoeing there along the tightrope there for the sideline, but he just couldn't keep that 1 foot in.
Absolutely, it was a fine effort. We've seen Sager to Henderson several times tonight, at least attempting that combination several times tonight. And I think we might see some big plays later on in this ball game. If they need the big play late in the ball game, we know where it's going to go, to Henderson. 2nd down and 10. Sager hands up to the middle. That time the ball goes to number 40, Mike Rabeda. He gets about 5 yards on the play. I think it's 3rd down and 5.
And Ken Lockhart and Dave Elsey were in that time for the tackle for Norristown. I'll tell you, Sager, the thing that impresses me is the way he drops back so smoothly, and he can really put something extra on the ball. Out of all the teams Norristown's played, except for Chris Schaefer or Plymouth Whitemarsh, from the early goings here, I think Sager's been the most impressive quarterback.
I agree. 3rd down, Sager this time the ball goes off to Hynoski. Hynoski breaks a couple tacklers. Well, that's a quick little runner, but fine play by Norristown. Tackle made by Toby Tolliver.
Well, Jeff Reinhardt made the play for the Eagles that time. He broke through the line and just managed to get one of his hands on the ankle of Hynoski before he could turn the corner there, and he really stopped him behind the line for him.
Well, now we have a 4th down and 8 out, and what do they do?
I'll say punt.
You'll say punt. Well, you're wrong. They're going for it, so...
This is incredible.
Prediction number 1, you're wrong already. Okay, Sager drops back to pass. A lot of time going for the corner pattern. Tommy Friday almost with the interception and almost a completion to number 41, Matt Hynoski.
Matt Hynoski was the only guy down in that corner of the zone for Council Rock that time. There was no Eagle defender except for Tom Friday, and if Friday didn't back up and move back there quickly, it would have been an easy touchdown because I don't know what happened to the defensive lapse that time, but Hynoski was wide open.
I think the key element on that play was that Sager had tons of time to throw that football.
Norristown rush has been pretty good tonight. Reinhardt has been able to get in there a couple times and really harass Sager, but that time his line held up pretty well.
So Norristown with the ball at their own 35-yard line. Livingston in motion to the right. Melito gives the ball to Wayne Denson. Wayne Denson does 360 in the air and falls down. He got 3 on the 2 yards on the play, but that's a tough way to get 2 yards.
I'll tell you, that is one of the most dangerous plays because Wayne Denson just did 360 in there, as you said. And I've seen a couple of incidents where players came down and it was the worst thing that could ever happen to them because, boom, your neck is susceptible to such an injury that way. And Denson throughout this year has had a habit.
Seems like an acrobat.
Yeah, not exactly the safest way to carry the ball.
So make it 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Melito this time off to Denson again. Another fine tackle by that Council Rock defense.
Nice draw that time. It was a delay action play. Melito dropped it back and just at the last second tucked it into Denson's chest. But Council Rock's defense wasn't fooled.
3rd down and 9. Of course, Norristown shuttles in their plays from Coach Grove with the flanker backs, Livingston and Elsier. See if Norristown can make a 1st down here. Melito's going to pass this time. Quick rush, screen to Wayne Denson. No, that wasn't even close to being completed. A little bit of a lapse in communication there that time between Melito and his receiver.
Well, that time Denson didn't turn around yet, and Melito was under pressure, and he dumped the ball out there already. It was just a matter of Denson and Melito getting their signals crossed.
That play, however, that screen pass to Wayne Denson has been quite effective this year.
Very effective. It's a good play because you have Denson going out there against a couple of defensive backs, and Denson has the speed to burn up the sidelines, and plus he has the power to knock over a couple of guys.
So Norristown will punt the ball for the first time tonight. 4th down and 9. Dave Elsier doing the kicking chores. Snap is a little bit high. Elsier takes the ball. Not a bad punt. It'll be taken by number 32 for the Indians, and that's Steve Tilsner. Tilsner swarmed under that time. I believe it was Gary Lokenstell on the play, as well as Ray Scaltrito and Mike Denzi. So, good field position once again for the Indians. 42-yard line, their own 42.
I'm impressed with Council Rock tonight, how they've come out and really attacked Norristown's defense, which a lot of teams come in here in the Roosevelt Field and against Norristown such touted defense, they kind of close things up. They try to run the ball, establish some type of ground game. Council Rock's come out throwing here and unexpectedly a couple times on 4th.
We have a new quarterback in the ball game. The handoff that time was made by number 14 for the Council Rock Indians, Dave Benna. They have 4 or 5 players listed here on our program as potential quarterbacks. The handoff that time went to Hynoski, gain of about 3 yards. I think it's 2nd down and 7. Well, we're going to have to watch this Council Rock team, make sure we know who the players are. Benna at quarterback. He's going to roll out to his right and throw the ball. Quick play, nice pass that time. Norristown swarming defense, tackle made by Waldrop. 1st down on the play. Also in there, number 33, Chavu, and number 4, Toby Tolliver.
Dave Bennon made a nice play rolling out here on the field, which is a little damp, and then rifling the ball right over the middle. This is surprising, though, as well as Sager played in their early part of this 1st quarter, and now Benna's in there.
Well, maybe they give everybody a shot. We have 2 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter. That'll be the last play of the 1st quarter, and it's stopped for no gain by the interior line of Norristown. It's Mark Ramsey, Jeff Reinhardt in on that tackle. We'll have 2nd down and 9.5. And we're going to have to change sides as the officials see that the 1st quarter has ended. So we have a scoreless ball game and quite a defensive struggle so far.
Norristown's been very lucky. Their defense has played a good 1st quarter because of those 2 turnovers. One, the interception by Rich Melito, thrown by Rich Melito, and of course that fumble given up by Carmen Bello.
Well, this game quite in contrast to the one we saw against Harry Truman in terms of scoring.
That's the truth. It was 19-0. Or no, it was already 12-0 when Truman was leading in the 1st quarter. Of course, Norristown had to come back last week to finally defeat them. But this one, Council Rock, not one of the better teams in the league. They have some tough competition on their schedule, but they've come in here and they've played Norristown evenly through the first 12 minutes.
Bennett back to pass once again. He's going to go deep. There's a nice loft on that ball. Nice play. Beautiful catch. No, there's a flag on the play. We're probably going to have pass interference. Pass was intended for Hynoski. Tom Friday on the coverage. Let's see what the call is. That was a heck of a pass by Bennett.
Bennett threw it off balance on the wrong foot, and he just lofted it up there. And I'll tell you, I didn't think Hynoski had a chance in the world to catch up to that ball, but he did.
He showed a lot of acceleration.
But it's being brought back, so I guess apparently it's going to be against...
Let's wait for the call. No, Council Rock's moving down there.
Oh, that's right.
Pass interference, Norristown. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Indians.
You can't be right all the time. That time, though, they called a pushing on Tom Friday. It's a questionable call. It's a split-second decision by the official that time, but Friday just knocked into him right as Hynoski was going for it.
And the officials will mark that off from the line of scrimmage. I believe that'll be a 15-yard penalty. That's right. It's 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, not from the point of the foul. We're just into this second quarter. Now Council Rock mounting the first serious threat of the ball game at the 29-yard line of Norristown. Bennett's still in at quarterback. Play goes inside this time. Flag on the play. Off the right side, Rabeda on that play. Tackle that time by Nate Balknight. See what the penalty is now. Holding on Council Rock this time, so let's move it back the other way. Well, this has certainly been a slow ball game. We've seen tons of penalties. Well, let's move it back 10 and start once again. Let's move it back 15. Is it 15 yards in high school for holding? Maybe too many NFL Sundays.
Or not enough NFL Sundays. Depends on your outlook on the situation.
Well, currently, let's say over the span of a lifetime. Make it 1st down and 24. Ball all the way back to the 43 of Norristown now. Bennett's going to go to the air once again. He's got a couple men open. Over the middle to Henderson. Nice play. It's completed. Well, they got back the penalty yardage on that play. It'll probably be about 2nd and 10. Tackle that time by Delbert Chavou.
I don't know, North.
2nd down and 9. Bennett to the air once again. Rolls out left. Over the middle. Oh, nice catch that time by Hynoski. He took a pop. What a catch.
Hynoski that time got hit the minute he got the ball in his hands, and he double clutched and he just held it with both hands, and he kept on going forward and picked up another 6 yards there on the play.
We've seen some impressive pass receiving by Council Rock. That tackle was made by Rick Waldrop on the last play, but we're going to have a 1st and goal situation from the 8-yard line.
I'll tell you, this is quite a duel. Council Rock has a quarterback. First Sager in the first quarter, and now here it's Dave Bennett, and they've both been impressive.
As we say, they've got 4 quarterbacks listed on the program. Go to the air once again. Why not? Oh, almost catch almost made by number 4, Bill Waite.
Waite should have had that ball because it was right there in his hands, and he was just trying to turn the corner into the end zone before he had it.
I think he had his hands backwards that time. He tried to make the backhand catch instead of reversing his field and bringing it into himself.
If you notice, it's kind of strange, too. Every pass that Bennett has attempted tonight here in the second quarter, he has such a weird motion. He comes across and he kind of throws and lunges the ball out there like a baseball pitcher would be doing rather than a quarterback on the back feet.
Well, whatever's effective. Bennett's going to go to the ground this time. Pitch tries to go around the left side. That's number 40, Rabeda. They got a couple, but not enough for a touchdown. See if the Norristown defense can get tough here down in their own, deep in their own territory. Certainly have a slow second quarter going. We have 10:31 to go in the second quarter. With all these incomplete passes and penalties and running out of bounds, we could be here all night. Making 3rd and 4, goal to go. Henderson wide to the right. Bennett in at quarterback. Pitch this time goes to Rabeda. Oh, pressure by Jerome Reinhardt. Can't make the tackle. Jeff Reinhardt, though, pulls him down, as well as Dave Elsier and Toby Tolliver. Good pressure that time by Norristown.
That's right. Jerome Reinhardt broke right through the line and got the initial hit on the runner for Council Rock, and then finally his brother Jeff came right up there and piled him over. Or piled him down, for that matter.
Whatever. 4th and 7. And we're going to go for a field goal here. We haven't seen too many field goal attempts that you rarely do in high school football. Of course, they have to start from where the ball is being put into play. It'll be a right-to-left kick.
Yeah, that's right, and it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult having to swing that ball over.
Soccer-style kicker. Gerwood, the kicker, holding duties by Sager. Kick is up, right through the uprights. And it's good.
And I'll tell you, Tom Friday broke right through the line that time and almost blocked that kick. It's a good thing Council Rock just got it up in time.
It was rather low. It just made it across the crossbar. But 3 points is 3 points, and Council Rock's on top, 3-0. 9:41 left to go in the first half.
Nice drive that time by Council Rock, especially Bennett with that 41-yarder down to Hynoski that really got him in scoring position.
I just left. I was really pissed off.
Okay, Denson and Friday back in deep for the Eagles as the rain's really starting to come down here at Norristown's Roosevelt Field. Number 20, Howard Gerwood, is about ready to kick off here, and it is really pouring here. Gerwood gets it high, but it's very short, taken by one of the up men. Balknight now coming right through the middle. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he's finally going to be dragged down at the 44-yard line of Council Rock. That time Nate Balknight took the ball, and the opposition broke right through the wedge, got it through a couple of Council Rock tackles, and picked up quite a few yards on the play.
Nice play by Nate Balknight. Showed a lot of smarts that time by waiting for his blockers. He took the ball on the left side of the field, waited a second, hesitated, let his defense set up, and followed the wall up the middle. Got some running room. Nice play by Nate.
Well, Melito leads the troops out there. Denson and Bello in the I formation behind them. And Melito dropping back to pass. He's getting pressured, lofts it down the left sideline, and is just about picked off. Pass intended that time for Rob Livingston, but nice play by Council Rock defensive back there.
Well, that play was broken up by number 14, Dave Bennett, who drove the Indians down the field that last time. I'll talk about your two-way man. That was 2 nice plays.
Nice pass that time by Melito because he was getting pressured there. Somebody broke through the right side of the line for Council Rock. Melito just unloaded it before he was hit.
And as you say, the play was broken up just at the last minute. Rob Livingston saw a touchdown. That's a play similar to the one Rob Livingston had at the end of the half against Pennsbury, where he was stopped at the 1-yard line with 1 second to go.
Okay, pitch out now to Wayne Denson. He's turning the right corner, and Denson's got some running room. And Denson, there he goes, down the sideline. And he is knocked out of bounds. I think it was by Hynoski that time. Otherwise, it was touchdown for Denson. That play has been a favorite of ours and of Norristown this year.
That's our play. Wayne Denson around the right side. We've seen that for a touchdown several times this year. I thought Wayne had it that time. Just couldn't keep his feet in balance, turning that corner. But Norristown on the move. I like to see this Norristown offense getting underway here in this first half.
So it's 1st and 10 now for the Eagles. Toss back to Denson. Denson trying to go outside again. This time it's down the left side. Denson falls over. Number 41, Hynoski, who's all over the field tonight for the Indians. And Denson picks up about 5 yards on the play.
I'd say it's 5. Oh, they're going to make it 8 yards on the play. So 2nd down and 2 to go. Wayne Denson made a nice run that time, picking his holes, waiting until he was all the way around the left side. But he scares me when he carries that ball so loosely in his right arm. He should have switched arms over to the left side with the tacklers coming from that right side. And he really does carry the ball loosely.
Precariously. Last week against Truman, we saw Denson where he was just holding it out there and he fumbled and cost Norristown a touchdown. Handoff up the middle this time to Bello. Bello only picks up about 1 yard on the play before he's stacked by Cassidy for Council Rock.
Tell me, is precariously a new vocabulary word, or?
I learned it just last. Do I get a quarter?
Anything you want.
Okay.
I'll talk to the English teachers at Norristown. I realize you're a graduate of the hallowed halls of Norristown Area High School, and I'm sure your former English teachers will be pleased to see you using such a wide vocabulary in these broadcasts.
Not only pleased, but surprised.
Surprised is a good word.
I don't need this abuse. Melito tossed to Denson around the right side this time. Picks up a block, but he is taken down. He only picks up about 1.5 yards. And Bettison was in there on the tackle, but he should get enough for the first down, and it is.
Let's give Wayne Denson about 5 yards on that last carry. He got a nice block that time by Carmen Bello. Norristown on the move, the ball at the 14-yard line of Council Rock.
Denson hit immediately upon taking that one. He only picks up about 1 yard on the play. Initial hit made that time by number 73, Ken Hanstead of Council Rock. Not much there. Shut up. So 7 minutes, a little under 7 to go here in this first half. Norristown, of course, trailing 3-0. But they're moving the ball down around the 13-yard line now. Melito dropping back to pass right over the middle. Quick one to Jerome Reinhardt. And Reinhardt gets in there for the touchdown. Nice pass that time by Melito to Reinhardt. Oh, Reinhardt took a couple steps off the line, turned around. Melito pumped it right over the middle of the action into Reinhardt's hands, and he just dropped right into the end zone. So Norristown gets on the board. It's 6-3, 6:42 to go here in the first half.
Nice play that time by Rich Melito. We've seen that play to Jerome Reinhardt. Of course, Jerome is just about the biggest man out on the field anytime he's in a ball game. Big target for Rich. Mike Denzi will attempt the extra point. Melito will hold. There's the snap. Mike Denzi, it's up. And I think we're safe to say that that one's good. Yes, it is. Nice extra point by Mike Denzi. And we've seen some fine kicking by Mike this year.
Got off to a shaky start, missing 2 of his 3 extra point attempts in the first ball game. And yet I think he's only missed 2 in the rest of the season. But that was a nice play, though, by Melito that time. Key, that play requires such a precise timing on it. Melito just had it right there as Reinhardt was making his move. So it's 7-3 now. Denzio will be kicking off for the Eagles. And the deep men are Rebeda and Hynoski for the Indians. Hynoski, the man on the far side. Rebeda, the guy on the nearest to on your screen. And the rain's just about stopped here at Roosevelt Field. Denson low but deep. Fielded on the bounce by Hynoski, but it goes by him finally. He picks it up. Hynoski breaks out to the outside this time. He's picking up a couple yards now as he's turning the corner for the Indians. Right at the sideline, and he didn't go out of bounds, and he gets up to the 36-yard line. Nice play that time by Hynoski. I'll tell you, Hynoski took that ball finally when he picked it up at about the 4-yard line, broke up the sideline, and then he made that smart move when he cut back inside to pick up about 10 more yards.
I really thought we were going to see Council Rock starting with the ball deep in their own territory. Great individual effort that time by Hynoski. He really eluded several tough Norristown tacklers.
He almost lost that one originally when he tried to field it on the bounce. Couldn't get a handle on it, but a nice return by Hynoski. Pitch out now to Rebeda. Rebeda going around the left side, and he only gets about a yard on the play. Ken Lockhart in there for the Eagles. Nice containment that time by the Eagles defense. So it's 2nd and 8. 5:45 left to go here in the first half. Norristown up 7-3. Touchdown for the Eagles coming on a Rich Melito to Jerome Reinhardt pass just about a minute ago. Bennett dropping back. He rolls out to his right over the middle. That time the pass was intended to number 86, Greg Colati, but it was way overthrown. So make it 3rd and 8 now.
little bit uncharacteristic of what we've seen so far in this ball game by Benna. That ball was well overthrown. Closest player to the ball was Rip Waldrop, number 23 for Norristown.
Benna dropping back. A little pressure, tries to go over the middle, intended for Claudia again, but that time it was overthrown.
Play was broken up that time by number 53, John Brown. Brown and Tolliver were both had tight defensive coverage that time. John thought he might have had a touchdown there. Nice play, nice tip. 4th down now for the Indians.
Good punt that time by Council Rock. Great distance, takes a bounce for Council Rock. And let's see, it finally goes out of bounds. I see the flag on the play. You don't have to throw flags up here in the press box. So what do you think the flag is going to be?
I don't know. Just for that, you try and figure it out. You try and figure out what the penalty was. You didn't even see the flag, and then you can't take my advice, so you predict.
I saw the flag. It's a little yellow thing, and it's sitting down there around the 31-yard line. And I also see Norristown players pointing towards Council Rock.
All right, so what was the call, Big Shot? You missed it, didn't you? You were talking to me, and you missed the official call.
You're really pressing your luck.
We're
going to keep Tom. Illegal procedure. Where's he when you want him? You get the play right finally, and he disappears.
What did you call it? Did you call
illegal procedure.
It's called illegal motion.
Look it up. Let's ask the ref.
Bad snap that time. Council Rock finally gets the ball up. Now that's a fine play by the Indians. That ball's going to roll all the way down inside the 30-yard line. It's going to be down on the 27. The kicker is down, however. We're going to have an official's timeout. Norristown had some great pressure on that play.
Well, that time Fleur did an outstanding job, as you said, for the Indians, because he barely got that one. It was a high snap. He lost control of it, and then when he finally got it off, he was nailed by one of the Eagles' players coming right in there.
Big break for the Indians that time.
So the ball's going to be on the 27-yard line for Norristown. 1st and 10, 5:06 left to go in this first half. This game being brought to you by the Norristown Area School District and is being produced by Tony Koya and the cameraman doing such a fine job tonight for the Eagles. Chris Carter, Pete Callahan, and Ben Walters Jr. And of course, I'm Alan Raleigh along with Jeff Brandon. Of course, I'm sure you know Mr. Brandon's here the way he's been correcting me all night. But this time, it goes to Wayne Denson. Denson finds some running room. He breaks it right up the middle, and Denson gets up to the 48-yard line before number 14, Benna, brings him down. And I'll tell you, Dave Benna was the only guy that stood between Denson and the touchdown that time, because Denson had turned on the Jets.
Wayne Denson showed some nice moves, and he also showed that power we talked about earlier. He has huge thighs. He just likes to run over people.
That time, it only looked like he was going to gain maybe 4 or 5 yards on the play, and then Denson broke to the outside, and that was it. He had the running room he needed. So it's just about a 19-yard pickup that time for Denson. Hand off to Bello up the middle. Bello picks up about 3 yards. He gets up to the 14-9-yard line. And Chase on the tackle now for the Indians.
We'd also like to thank Dan Coughlin for doing some spotting for us tonight. In the previous ball games, we've had to do it solo, and it makes it a lot easier for us. We know who's making the tackles and also who's running the ball.
Why didn't you ask him about the flag that was down on the punt? Just a thought. We had some motion on the line that time, and Wayne Denson is met right at the line. They lose about 2 yards on that play. And there was number 70, Cassidy, for the Indians. Looks like the Eagles' line was disorganized that time. There was a little movement right before the snap, and it never looked like they got their blocking patterns down.
I agree, Alan. Norristown, of course, has a fine offensive line. They're big this year. They were inexperienced coming into this season, but with 5 ball games under their belt, they're ready to go this year. Just a temporary lapse, I'm sure.
Well, Denson, it was a loss of 2 on that last carry by Denson, so it's 3rd and 10. 3:24 left to go in this first half. Did you know they played 6 games?
No, they didn't. They played 5 games and had a forfeit.
I know that, but Dan Coughlin, our spotter, put that in there. Tom Friday had it that time, and then he lost it, had it in his hands, and then he dropped it. So Norristown's going to have to punt the ball away here. That's right, of course, that one win coming by means of a forfeit against University City. I had that one right. It was Dan. Dan did that one. Our spotter, Dan.
Earlier in the show, I think we mentioned that it was a forfeit over Methacton. That, of course, is wrong. It was University City. Methacton being out on strike, but however, they're not even in our league this year.
Well, Dave Elsier, high snap way over Dave Elsier's head. He's trying to go back and get this one. He finally gets it. And Dave is going to try to run with the ball. Yes, and he's breaking up now on the right sideline, and Elsier's got some running room. Elsier now he fumbles the ball, and let's see, I think he came back up with it, but neither way, Council Rock's going to get possession of it back on the 34-yard line. I'll tell you, it was an exciting run by Elsier that time, but I thought he had time if he would have just moved out a little bit to hurry up and try to punt that ball.
Well, either punt or pass the ball, but it was a nice effort by Dave Elsier. That was a wild play. That snap went about 40 yards. It had some power behind it, but it was a little bit high. Dave tried to make something out of that play. Council Rock will start with great field position to the 35-yard line of Norristown.
I'll tell you, I didn't notice who the center was snapping the ball that time for the Eagles, but that was just a terrible snap way over Elsier's head. He had no chance for that one. He had to go back to the 20-yard line just to pick it up. So Benna in there at quarterback still now for Council Rock. He's been in there since the closing minute of the first quarter, and Jerome Reinhardt just took him in his arms and piled him right down there on the floor. And Ken Lockhart's going for a touchdown, but unfortunately no one else is going there as the refs have already blown the play dead. But I'll tell you, Jerome Reinhardt just wrapped up Benna and took him right down. I forgot what I was going to say, but I got it right.
It's okay. Mental lapses are your trademark.
Forte.
Nice play by Jerome Reinhardt. Kenny Lockhart, one of the offensive linemen for Norristown. For Norristown, for Council Rock.
And you're telling for Council Rock.
That's right, for Council Rock. Made Kenny Lockhart run all the way down that field. Of course, Kenny, he has the ball. He wants to run for a touchdown. There's no one behind him. He's going to realize that the play is dead, but there were 2 players chasing him, so why not run all the way down to the goal line?
We'll make it 2nd and 16, a loss of 6 yards on the play. This time it's given to Hynoski. He gains about 3 yards. Reinhardt in there on the tackle for the Eagles. A minute 35 to go, and we've got a timeout being taken by Council Rock as Bennett trots over to the sideline. So Council Rock having pretty good field position. The ball on their Norristown's 38-yard line. Norristown, of course, leading 7-3. Scoreless first quarter. Council Rock got on the board first when they got a 12-yard field goal, and then Norristown came right back. They on a pass from Rich Melito to Jerome Reinhardt, a 7-yarder. That made it 7-3. Denzi heading the extra point.
Of course, I realize you're going to try and let that slide through. That was a 22-yard field goal. We have to add 10 yards for the end zone, but don't worry about it. Thank you, Dan Coughlin, for that point. I'd love to just clarify these things for you, Alan.
Just wait until the trivia questions come around 3rd, 4th quarter. We're going to try for the 3rd week in a row, and then it's going to be your turn.
I'm not proud.
Well, 1:35 now in this first half. Bennett dropping back. Some time pressured deep right down the middle, and it is overthrown. The pass intended that time by to Hynowski, but it was overthrown by Bennett. He had to release that ball. Good pass rush by the Eagles.
Good arm, though, by Bennett. He was wide open, had the straight fly pattern out of the, I don't know if he lined up on the right side or if he just came out of the backfield, but he was wide open.
So we've got 4th and 14. And the punting team is coming on for Council Rock now. Tom Friday is going back deep for the Eagles. Low snap that time for the Council Rock center. The floor on the punt. And this ball is rolling out of bounds. It's going out, what's that, around the 7-yard line?
Just about the 7-yard line. Nate Balknight just protected that ball, made sure it didn't fall into the end zone, watched it roll out of bounds.
Well, it'll be it.
Go ahead.
No, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Norristown, 1:20 left to go on the clock. They're up 7-3. Of course, they're way back deep in their own territory.
I'd say sit on the ball. Run the ball to Carmen Bello.
I disagree with you there. I say try, definitely run the ball, give it to Wayne Denson a couple times. 1:20 is lots of time with a couple timeouts thrown in there. And if they
3 yards is a lot of yards.
Yeah, but if you pick up a couple yards on a couple of quick runs, then you've got some room to maneuver with down there. So let's see. Milito tossed to Denson. Denson breaks right through the middle, and he gets up to the 24-yard line. Chase on the tackle now, number 31 for Council Rock.
That's why you get the big money, Alan.
Right.
You get paid twice as much as I do.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and we're both still broke.
That's right. Twice as nothing is nothing.
17-yard pickup that time by Denson, so now Norristown moving up the field a little bit. Still 1 minute to go now in the first half. Milito tossed to Denson once again, same exact play. This time, though, Denson breaks over to the right side, and he gets up to the 23-yard line. Tilsner on the tackle for Council Rock.
I don't think you can actually say that Norristown's trying to go anywhere with the ball. We haven't seen a timeout yet in this drive. Clock's still running with 40 seconds to go. And I think it'd be just as safe. Maybe he's trying to say maybe you have one big run by Wayne Denson. But I'd rather see Carmen Bello carrying the ball, even though he does have a fumble early in this ball game. I think Bello's the more secure of the two backs.
Well, very conservative series here, that's for sure. They had a minute 29 when the series started. We're down to 23 seconds. They're just playing it tight. Now Milito rolling out. Last second tries to pitch. Now he rolls back to his right side. Milito breaking up the sideline. And he gets a block by Tom Friday, and finally he is met at the 42-yard line. So an interesting play that time, but Milito faked the pitch out to Denson, and then he cut back, reversed his field of motion. But we're going to have a timeout now by Norristown. Nick Coletti on the tackle for Council Rock. So we've got 9 seconds left to go. See, this is why I wonder about the play selection here. Now we call the timeout with 9 seconds after we get up to about the 44-yard line, or 41-yard line of Norristown.
Well, it depends on your philosophy. I'd rather see Norristown going into the locker room with a 7-3 lead and not scoring a touchdown. 93 yards is a long way to go. And, what if you have the big turnover and Council Rock takes the ball right in on you? I think it could go either way, and I prefer the conservative theory in this ball game.
Okay, I'll agree one half of the way with you. When the ball's on the 7-yard line, yes, you don't come out throwing. But when you've got the ball and you've got some decent field position, it doesn't hurt. You have to have faith in your defense, which obviously everyone has in Norristown if Council Rock does come up with the turnover. But you have to have faith in that offense. So with 9 seconds, Norristown's going to have a 1st and 10, the ball on the 41-yard line. Friday comes out to the left side. Jerome Reinhardt. He's over on the right. Milito dropping back to pass. He's got some decent protection this time. Now he's getting pressured right down the middle. And this one's just a duck sitting there. Tom Friday was the intended receiver, but number 4, Bill Waite, was there to knock the ball away. So 2 seconds left to go in the first half. So one more play now for Norristown. Milito dropping back to pass again. Good pressure by Council Rock. And number 52, let's see, who is that? That's Andy Micklin. Breaks in, and he sacks Milito, and that ends the first half. So going into the locker room, Norristown takes a 7-3 lead.
pretty exciting right now. Marching band.
Right now on the field we have the Council Rock Indians Marching Band. They're 250 members strong, and we're going to keep this on for the entire halftime show. We'll give you a wrap-up as soon as this band is finished with their display on the field, but let's just sit back right now and watch a fine display.
Hey, all the years he was association president, I was the vice president. I handled all the grants. I knew something. Well, it took me a few minutes.
Jeff Brandon here with Alan Raleigh, and you've just seen a fine halftime show put on by the Council Rock Indian Marching Band. We'd like to congratulate drum majors Chris Simon and Nancy Everly. Alan, in that first half, Norristown looked good. They got some points on the board, but Council Rock's showing a good passing attack.
That's right. Norristown overcame a couple of costly turnovers, a fumble by Carmen Bello and also a first quarter interception by Rich Melito. And yet tonight it was their defense that carried them. Unlike last week where the defense came out a little sluggish, tonight they did a fine job containing a very good and potent offensive attack for Council Rock. I'll tell you, this is the first team outside of maybe Plymouth Whitemarsh that came out and I mean went to the air and attacked all facets of the Norristown defense. They didn't try running up the middle like most teams do with very little success. They came out and it was an aggressive attack, and I think that's the biggest reason. I think it surprised Norristown. I don't think they expected it.
Good point. I think by no means is this ball game over. Although we saw Norristown go into the half with a 7-3 lead, the Norristown attack was extremely potent. They could have had more points on the board. You wanted them to go for some points at the end of the second half. I said no. Nothing came out of that. But I think we can maybe see a little more opening up by Norristown in the second half.
That's true. Norristown, with an explosive attack as they have, with Carmen Bell and Wayne Denson, especially in the backfield, and with Melito, a good quarterback, Coach Grove and Norristown, they tend to get too conservative at times. And I mean, I certainly am not the greatest to be up here critiquing the Norristown offense,
This is true.
but I think it's a known fact that occasionally they get too conservative rather than opening things up. They have the tools. I think one thing that contradicts everything that I just said is the condition of the field down there. Norristown's offensive attack relies so much on speed. Now, it rained before the ball game. We had a heavy downpour in the early moments of the second quarter. Now, Tom Friday, Dave Elsier and the guys, they're not going to be able to run down the field half as fast as they did. And plus, it's, maybe that's why they're leaning a little bit towards the running game now. It's been nice out here, though. It hasn't rained, as I said, since the second quarter, so it'll be interesting to see if they open it up and if Melito goes to the air a little more.
We've also seen nice weather temperature-wise all through this year. We haven't had any cold days which might precipitate some stone hands by the players.
That's right. Norristown's been very lucky. I'll tell you, if this is the first time in the 4 years I've been doing these games here for Norristown that I have ever remembered, here we are in the middle of October, and it's still about 55 degrees. Believe me, there have been some nights when it's about 30 out here, and the announcers feel it as bad as the players,
So
I think.
you can even come without a tie. That's a nice
First
nice
time
point.
in 5 years. But
right.
let's go down to the field. Norristown leading 7-3, and it should be an exciting second half.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment with the play-by-play.
Well, we're back here for the second half action. Norristown's going to be receiving the kick. They're leading 7-3. Back deep for the Eagles, number 1. Of course, that's Tom Friday. And on the far side of the field, number 2, Wayne Denson. They're the two deep backs for the Eagles. And the kicker is Howard Gurwood, number 20 for Council Rock. Friday and Denson standing around the 10-yard line for the Eagles. It's aimed back in Denson's direction. He comes out, takes it at the 17-yard line. Denson breaking right up the middle of the field. And he is finally taken down at the 36-yard line, so making a 19-yard return for the Eagles, and Wayne Denson and number 43, Rick Sams, in there on the tackle for Council Rock. Okay, just tell me what. So the Eagles about ready to take over here. 1st and 10. Ball on the 39. Rich Melito at quarterback once as usual for the Eagles. This time handoff to Wayne Denson, and Denson is going nowhere but backwards that time. He lost 3 yards on the play. And it's George Kay in there on the tackle for the Indians. Wayne Denson, number 2 for the Eagles. Number 6, Carmen Bello. Of course, Rich Melito is number 10 on your roster, Eagles quarterback. And number 5 is Dave Elsier, and he, along with Rob Livingston, number 3, they shuttle the plays in and out from the sidelines for Coach Grove. And Melito dropping back to pass. He rolls out to his left. He tosses over the middle, and this one is almost picked off. Let's see, it was Bedison almost picked that one off, and it wasn't for Carmen Bello hitting him. It would have been an interception for Council Rock. That one was just a floating duck launched up there by Melito. He was a little off balance when he threw that one. So Norristown gets a break. They didn't turn it over. 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
Denson and Bello in the I formation. Melito dropping back. Melito going deep now, intended for Tom Friday, but that one was overthrown. And once this time, Matt Hynoski was out there to break up the play for Council Rock, so Norristown will be forced to punt, and Dave Elsier will handle the punting chores for the Eagles. So Norristown's first series of the second half is uneventful. They got on the board in the second quarter when Melito hit Jerome Reinhardt for a touchdown, making it 7-3, and that's where the score stands right now. Elsier standing back around his 20-yard line. We've got flags on the play. Let's see, someone jumped off sides. Let's see who the call is going to go against. And it's illegal motion going against Norristown. So they're going to bring it back around 5 yards and try it once again. So Elsier tried again. Mike Henderson, number 2. And boy, we saw him break down as a wide receiver a couple times in the first quarter. He's got some speed. He's standing back at around the 40-yard line for Council Rock. Council Rock, just one single guy back there. Mike Henderson, they're going for the block here. And Elsier just gets it off. Good pressure that time by Council Rock. And I think, let's see, number 81, Mark Mullen was the man who broke through there as they went for the block that time, and they really put the pressure on Elsier, and he barely got it off, only about a 15-yard punt.
Well, Council Rock now with good field position, picking the ball up at about the 40-yard line of Norristown. We saw some good pressure than the initial play when there was a penalty, and they broke through once again.
That's right, very good choice that time. So Council Rock gets the ball on Norristown's 41-yard line. They have excellent field position, trailing 7-3. A minute 41 gone here in the third quarter. And Dave Benna, who came out at the end of the first quarter, is still in there at quarterback for the Indians. This time it's a handoff to Hynowski. Hynowski breaks a couple tackles, but Ken Lockhart's right on his back. He pulls him down. Hynowski gets about a yard. So make it 2nd and 9. Bennett dropping back, and this one is taken by Council Rock. Clotty takes it, and he gets to the 27-yard line.
Tackle that time made by Tom Friday, the only man back there in the Norristown secondary left to make that tackle.
Very quick pass that time from Bennett, who took a couple steps back and then rolled out to his left and just unloaded it to Clotty. Clotty's first reception, 17-yard pass to make a Council Rock, 1st and 10. Hand off to Hynowski. Hynowski breaks right through the middle, and Tom Friday finally takes him down. Or make that Rebeda, who had the ball for the Indians, and that time Tom Friday made a touchdown-saving tackle. 2
plays in a row, touchdown-saving tackles. Tom with some good leg tackling on those last 2 plays.
And surprising, that time Rebeda went right up the middle of Norristown's line, and that's their strength.
Excellent play selection. They really caught the Eagles off guard after going for those several short passes they did. Nice call by the Council Rock coach.
Well, I think they've been doing that throughout this ball game. The first half, it was quite evident they've thrown Norristown off guard quite a few times. And this time, let's see, it was Hynowski gained about 3 yards on the run, and Nate Balknight was in there on the tackle for the Eagles.
Bit of a hurdle that time by Hynowski to get anything out of that play. The Norristown interior line had it stacked up, but it was a nice effort. Go over some of these Norristown players for you. Out there on defense, number 51, Ray Scaltrito, number 77, Mark Ramsey, number 79, Jeff Reinhardt, number 83, Jerome Reinhardt, number 23, Rick Waldrop, number 4, Toby Tolliver. We'll get back to you in just a moment with the rest of those names.
Hand off to Hynowski. This time, Elsier, number 5, is in there on the tackle, and he was just holding on to Hynowski, and Hynowski still picked up about 2 yards.
The other players out there for Norristown are number 23, Rick Waldrop, number 33, Delbert Chavou, number 5, Dave Elsier, number 26, Nate Balknight. And coming into the ballgame right now, number 53, John Brown.
So it's 3rd and 3 now. Council Rock knocking on the door for Norristown's end zone. And we've got a missed snap here, and we've got offsides on Council Rock. I believe it was their center that jumped off there. He hurried the snap, and it's going to be offside, so it's going to push Council Rock back 5 yards.
I don't think Council Rock can afford those kind of mental mistakes. The Norristown defense definitely going to get tough here in this goal line stand, as we've seen. And it's illegal procedure against Council Rock, so that'll move it back 5 yards, make it 3rd down and 8. And with the great play selection they've had, the good execution that they've had, they really have to get this ball into the end zone for a touchdown, I think, if they want to remain in this ball game.
That's right. That penalty, a very costly one. It was only 3rd and 3. Now it's going to be 3rd and 8, and you don't have much room to maneuver when you're down that close to the Norristown end zone. Bennett dropping back. Quick over the middle, and it's knocked away by one of the Norristown defenders. I believe it was number 53, Ray. Oh, it was John Brown, number 77, according to our spotter, Dan Coughlin.
John Brown, number 53. Right on the number, wrong on the name. Nice play by John.
Hey, you weren't listening. 53, I thought, was Ray Scaltrito, and I thought he broke up the play. I'm getting close.
Then you said number 77.
And it's Council Rock here. Let's see if they go for the field goal now. It's going to be 4th and 8. And number 20, Howard Gerwood, who nailed a 22-yarder earlier in the ball game for the only points for Council Rock. This one is low and it's blocked. And Toby Tolliver, number 4, blocked that one. And Tolliver blocks that one, and I'll tell you, that was, we had pointed out earlier in the first field goal attempt that Gerwood didn't get much height on his kick for the field goal.
Toby Tolliver is really sore down there on that field. He took it right in the middle of the stomach. We hope Toby's all right. That's what you call sacrificing for your team. That was a heck of a play by Toby Tolliver. He's tried to get up several times and just can't make it off the turf. I hope it's just he has the wind knocked out of him. He was hit right in the abdomen, the area of the abdomen. We certainly hope he's okay. The Norristown coaches are out there tending to him. Oh, in any event, Norristown will take over the ball 1st and 10. If we can get some information on Toby Tolliver, we'll get that to you as soon as possible.
And you can see that time. Oh, well, anyway, you can see that time. I'm listening to your actions. That time a soccer-style kicker where they can get more distance on the ball, but they don't get any of the height. Exactly,
and right now, while we have some time, in the remaining home games that we have, we'd like to recognize the Norristown varsity cheerleaders. We have in front of you, in the front of your screen, Kathy Lozenak, a senior for Norristown, and behind her, Sharon Schiffner, with her face slightly turned from you. And on their left, over on the other side of your screen, just coming into view, in the back we have Jennifer Tasca, and the blonde in front of her is Ellen Flannery. So those girls do a fine job cheering for Norristown and raise some enthusiasm with the Norristown fans. And we'll give you some details on the other cheerleaders as these games come to us. And Toby Tolliver's up and he's walking off the field, albeit with some help from Coach Roger Grove.
Well, now Norristown's offense will take over. They're going to have the ball at the 15-yard line. Polito was a handoff to Carmen Bello. Bello breaks through, and he is running up, and he's going to finally be taken down to at the 42-yard line. So that time, Carmen Bello broke probably his longest run in 3 games.
I think you're right, Alan. We saw some nice blocking that time by the line of Norristown. Maybe if Carmen had cut to the outside, he would have had a touchdown. I don't know.
Coletti in there on the tackle that time for Council Rock. So it was a 21-yard pickup that time for Carmen Bello. Melito, the quick handoff now to Bello once again. Bello, this time he gets up to the 45-yard line. And Hynowski and Bennett in there on the tackle for Council Rock. And I'll tell you, Jeff, this time Norristown's come out here in the second half, Wayne Denson's been the key threat for him throughout this ball game. Now they're starting to mix things up, give the ball a little more to Carmen Bello, and they're catching the Council Rock defense leaning toward Denson.
I really like this varied attack that Norristown's putting into the ball game. Of course, with Council Rock missing the scoring opportunity, the excellent scoring opportunity they have, Norristown can put some points on the board here. They'll be in great shape. There's Wayne Denson. He's really stopped in the backfield. Loss of about 2 yards on the play. Tackle made by number 52 for Council Rock, Andy Micklin.
Well, Carmen Bello gained over 100 yards in the first 2 ball games of the year. And then since then, he's been pretty much unheard of from, except in that Pennsbury ball game. As far as the rushing attack, the majority of it is gone as far as the load to Wayne Denson.
Well, that's right. Of course, we saw Wayne Denson was the major running back last year as a sophomore. Denson and Bello are both juniors. The running attack next year should be awesome, provided the offensive line stays intact or at least has some nice replacements coming up from the lower grades. Polito's pitch goes to Denson off the left side this time. Wayne can't get anywhere on this play. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down and 12. Tackle was made that time by Council Rock's Floor. That didn't sound too good. Council Rock's Fred Floor. That's his last name.
And we've got an injured Norristown Eagle down on the play. Let's see, that's going to be number 3, Rob Livingston, who's down on the play. And he's got a cramp in his left leg, so the Norristown trainers are out there massaging it.
Some of the other cheerleaders here at tonight's game. You have the close-up there of Barb Servino, a junior at Norristown. Of course, everyone's attention's on the field waiting to see what's happening to Rob Livingston. There's Jana Rochette, as well as Tabitha Scott. I believe that other cheerleader there is Charlotte Marinaro.
I got a cramp from butterfly
And Rob Livingston being helped off to the sideline. Livingston just had a severe cramp that time in his left leg. He'll be probably back in the ball game pretty soon. So it'll be Norristown's ball, 3rd and 11. Wayne Denson lost 3 yards on that last play. 5 minutes, 39 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter. Bello and Denson lined up behind Melito. 3rd and 11. Melito back to pass, tries. I don't know what happened that time. He faked the pass over the middle and he was going to run out, but George Kay was in there and he sacked him. Melito was taken down at the 45-yard line of Norristown's end. So it's going to be a Norristown punt now.
We're seeing a fairly slow ball game this evening. We've had a lot of stoppages of play with penalties and incomplete passes, etc. Dave Elsier back to do the punting for Norristown.
Another high snap that time by the Norristown center. 2nd one in a row. Dave Elsier gets this one. Let's see what he's going to do. And he elects to run it again instead of trying to punt it. He didn't have much time, in all fairness to Dave, though. Let's be honest with him. Second, throughout the season, no one on the Norristown team has snapped the ball and had such a costly mistake like that. I still haven't picked up who the Norristown center was.
Well, the Norristown center is regularly Mike Denzi. I assume he is the same player. Yes, he is. It's Mike Denzi. Coach Griffiths on the sideline having a word with Mike. That's 2 bad snaps. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm sure it'll be corrected. So Council Rock with a golden opportunity.
That's right. Of course, they were given a golden one earlier in the ball game. This one coming in the second quarter. And that time the Norristown defense held, and it's going to have to hold again if they don't want to see their lead evaporate. Dana immediately drops back to pass, gets good protection. And let's see, that one is incomplete. The ball was originally intended to Mike Henderson, but Henderson didn't cut across on that pattern quick enough.
There was obviously some confusion between Bennett and his receiver. Toby Tolliver made a diving stab at that ball. Nobody had a chance at it.
So the ball at the 17-yard line, 2nd and 10. Dana drops back. Now he holds onto the ball, and then he launches it down in the end zone. 3 Eagles back there, and it's tapped away. Tom Friday and Rick Walter knocked that ball away. The pass was intended to Mike Henderson once again.
I think that play was made by number 83, Jerome Reinhardt, heavy on the pressure. Ken Lockhart hit Bennett just as he released the ball. Tom Friday really couldn't believe he missed that ball. Fine effort by the Norristown defense that time in all sectors.
That time, Jerome Reinhardt, originally Bennett wanted to go over to the right side, and all of a sudden Jerome Reinhardt popped right in front of him, made him have to force him to roll out and try to go deep.
Exactly.
So it's 3rd and 10. And now they hand it off the middle, and no gain that time by Council Rock. Tell you. Number 40, Mike Rabeda, had it that time for Council Rock. He didn't even pick up anything on that play. Delbert Chavou in there on the tackle for Norristown, so it's going to be 4th and 11. And let's see what Council Rock does. In the first quarter, they elected to go on 4th down plays and try for the first.
And they're going to go right here. They need some points. I go with that call.
Bennett getting good pass protection. This one is intended for Henderson, but Rick Waldrop was right there, number 23. He knocked the ball away. And I'll tell you, did you see the block? I didn't catch who it was, but one of the running backs, Jerome Reinhardt, was really stopped there by one of the short running backs for Council Rock.
No, I didn't catch it either, but I did notice that play. That was a fine block on that last play.
Nice pass that time, too, by Bennett, going right over the middle to Henderson.
Well, the Norristown defense has really been the savior of this ball game. I'd say there have been some big mistakes, if you will, by the Norristown offense, special teams unit, and the defense has really hung tough.
Bello now takes it. He gains up. Well, he's still running. He finally gets up to the 41-yard line. Hynoski in there on the tackle. And this is the 3rd straight long run that Bello's had since they've given him the ball in the second half.
We just saw Carmen Bello drag Hynoski by 1 foot for 5 yards. And he didn't lose any speed. That's what amazes me.
Bello is a bullish runner down there for the Eagles. He's got quite a bit of power and strength.
Just like the stock market.
Can he go through China shops, though? That's my question.
I don't know. Merrill Lynch and Mr. Hetzer or something like that.
And Bello gets it again. This time he picks up about 3 yards. In there on the tackle for Council Rock was number 62, Marshall Sills. So it's going to be 2nd and 7. And Rob Livingston, number 3, back into the ballgame. He suffered a cramp in the last offensive series for the Eagles. He carries the play in this time for Norristown. 2nd and 7, Bello and Denson in the eye. Friday flanked out to the left side. Milito pitch this time to Denson. Denson has some running room. He fumbles the ball, and it's right into one of the Council Rock defenders, and Wayne Denson fumbles that one. And we were talking about it earlier, Jeff. Denson carries the ball very loosely. He doesn't switch very often. He never tucks it in. George Kay came up with that fumble recovery that time. And another Norristown drive, which was moving quite effectively, is now a turnover in favor of Council Rock.
I'll tell you, Alan, that invariably happens. Wayne Denson has some fantastic runs in these ball games, and then that's it. He doesn't tuck the ball away. He gets popped trying to run through the middle, and then there's a fumble and a turnover.
So Council Rock takes it at the 50-yard line, and that pass, that was intended to be, well, let's see. Delbert Chavou, Ken Lockhart were in there on the tackle, but that one was supposed to be a flea flicker pass. Bennett took a couple steps back, unloaded it. I didn't even see who it was on Council Rock, who was aiming downfield, but he never had a chance with Norristown's defense swarming in.
Well, Delbert Chavou was all over the flea flicker that time. Nate Balknet, of course, and Ken Lockhart in on the play. But for a small fella, Delbert Chavou really has a lot of strength on that in the middle linebacker position.
So it's 2nd and 17 now. Bennett handoff up the middle to Hynoski. Hynoski gets back to the 45-yard line before Jeff Reinhardt pulls him down. I'll tell you, Council Rock and their coaches tonight are pulling out all the stops. They're using some plays that we haven't seen in quite a while that anyone's attempting against Norristown.
And I also think it's a tribute to the Council Rock defense and perhaps maybe even a little bit of the problems encountered by the Norristown offense. The score is only 7-3, and we're late in the third quarter.
Very disappointing showing by the Norristown offense tonight, that's for sure. Bennett, he's back, he has some room. And that time a vicious hit by number 5, Dave Elsier. Boy, that pass was intended to number 4, Bill Waite. And Elsier just nailed Waite right as the ball was coming in there. Dave Elsier left his calling call that time, and I'll tell you, Bill Waite is still feeling that one as he goes over the sidelines. But it's going to be 4th down, 4th and 15. And Tom Friday, the deep man for the Eagles. Good punt by 4. And it takes a Norristown bounce. It's coming forward. And finally, it's down at the 37-yard line. Down by Coletti for Council Rock.
Well, that was almost a disaster for Norristown. Toby Tolliver making some nice blocks there, and he didn't see the ball bounce backwards. Just got out of the way in time.
Eagles will take it over at the 33-yard line. Only 39 seconds to go in this third quarter.
And once again, some big plays by the Norristown defense, not allowing Council Rock to get into the end zone. We've seen this one field goal, which was in the, what was it, the end of the first quarter?
End of the first quarter, right. Later, the quick handoff to Bello. Bello just pulls his way up the middle again, gets up to the 39-yard line, a pickup of 6 yards on the play, and he just drags the opposing team members right with him when he runs.
It totally amazes me to see defensive players just following along behind Carmen Bello. He doesn't want to stop.
Bello's got such strong, powerful legs that he can just keep on driving even though people are hanging all over him.
Well, I say Wayne Denson and Carmen Bello are almost in the mold of, say, an Earl Campbell, someone who can run right at you.
Only difference, Denson has the strength as far as I guess the advantage would be speed.
I'd say so, and right now we have the end of the third quarter, and we'll shift ends of the field, and the scores, as we said, is 7-3. We're ready to begin the fourth quarter of play.